Today is May 1st, 2025. This is Read Through the Bible.
Hi, everyone.
And I don't know if you did this out in California, but we had May Day celebrations when I was a kid.
I mean, I've heard of the maypole dance.
Yeah, but I remember as a kid, like sometimes we would be ding-dong ditched and we would see like baskets of fruit placed in our front door.
No.
Okay, I kind of remember that. Like this was something that was, I don't know how often it was done. Maybe it was only done once, but it was done on May 1st, like May Day. That's what you did. You kind of gave people gifts of fruit baskets on their front doors anonymously.
All right.
Okay, but we're going to read today Numbers 5 and 6. It's still in this context about setting things in order to pack out to war. We've seen in chapter 1 was the census that was taken, and then chapter 2 where they camp. In chapter 3 and 4 talking about the Levites, and now we're just talking about just all the people, how they need to be pure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get some like purity laws again. Sounds a little bit like Leviticus. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Command the people of Israel that they put out of the camp everyone who is leprous or has a discharge, and everyone who's unclean through contact with the dead. You shall put out both male and female, putting them outside the camp, that they may not defile their camp in the midst of which I dwell." And the people of Israel did so, and they put them outside the camp, as the Lord said to Moses. So the people of Israel did.
Okay. Bunch of people on timeout. Okay, verse 5. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the people of Israel. When a man or woman commits any of the sins that people commit by breaking faith with the Lord, and that person realizes his guilt, he shall confess his sin that he has committed. And he shall make full restitution for his wrong, adding a fifth to it, and giving it to him to whom he did the wrong. But if the man has no next of kin to whom restitution may be made for the wrong, the restitution for wrong shall go to the Lord for the priest, in addition to the ram of atonement with which atonement is made for him. And every contribution, all the holy donations of the people of Israel, which they bring to the priest, shall be his. Each one shall keep his holy donations. Whatever anyone gives to the priest shall be his."
Okay, so restoring someone who sins. Mm-hmm. Okay, and now we see, as the ESV says, a test for adultery. This is kind of weird stuff.
Yeah.
And the idea is if someone is maybe perhaps guilty of adultery, they need to administer this test, and it has to do with drinking dusty water.
Yeah.
And so it's really strange, and I think the whole point is that this is a deterrent for actually committing adultery. Like if you know that there's going to be some sort of test taken, if you commit adultery, I think you'll stay away from this, because adultery is not good. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the people of Israel, if any man's wife goes astray and breaks faith with him, if a man lies with her sexually and is hidden from the eyes of her husband, and she is undetected, though she has defiled herself, and there's no witness against her, since she was not taken in the act, and if the spirit of jealousy comes over him, and he is jealous of his wife who has defiled herself, or the spirit of jealousy comes over him, and he's jealous of his wife, though she has not defiled herself." So in other words, if someone suspects adultery's happened and you're jealous, then the man shall bring his wife to the priest, and bring the offering required of her, a tenth of an ephah of barley flour, and he shall pour no oil on it, and put no frankincense on it, for it's a grain offering of jealousy, a grain offering of remembrance, bringing iniquity to remembrance.
"And the priest shall bring her near and set her before the Lord. And the priest shall take holy water in an earthenware vessel, and take some of the dust that is on the floor of the tabernacle, and put it into the water. And the priest..."
So there it is, like the dusty water that they need to drink.
Holy water.
Holy water.
"And the priest shall set the woman before the Lord, and unbind the hair of the woman's head, and place in her hands the grain offering of remembrance, which is the grain offering of jealousy. And in his hand the priest shall have the water of bitterness that brings the cure. I'm sorry, the curse, not the cure, the curse. Then the priest shall make her take an oath, saying, 'If no man has lain with you, and if you have not turned aside to uncleanness while you were under your husband's authority, be free from this water of bitterness that brings the curse. But if you have gone astray, though you are under your husband's authority, and if you have defiled yourself, and some man other than your husband has lain with you, then let the priest make the woman take the oath of the curse, and say to the woman, The Lord make you a curse and an oath among your people. When the Lord makes your thigh fall away from your makes your thigh fall away and your body swell. May this water that brings the curse pass into your bowels and make your womb swell and your thigh fall away. And the woman shall say, Amen, amen.
There's something supernatural here happening, like the Lord discerns and takes this dusty water and whatever, brings a sickness upon the one who drinks this, if they're guilty. Then the priest shall write these curses in a book and wash them off in the water of bitterness. And he shall make the woman drink the water of bitterness that brings the curse, and the water that brings the curse shall enter into her and cause bitter pain. And the priest shall take the grain offering of jealousy out of the woman's hand, and shall wave the grain offering before the Lord, and bring it to the altar. And the priest shall take a handful of the grain offering as its memorial portion, and burn it on the altar, and afterwards shall make the woman drink the water. And when he has made her drink the water, then if she has defiled herself and has broken faith with her husband, the water that brings the curse shall enter into her and cause bitter pain, and her womb shall swell, and her thigh shall fall away, and the woman shall become a curse among her people. But if the woman has not defiled herself and is clean, she shall be free, and shall conceive children.
This is the law in cases of jealousy when a wife, though under her husband's authority, goes astray and defiles herself, or when the spirit of jealousy comes over a man and he is jealous of his wife. Then he shall set the woman before the Lord, and the priest shall carry out for her all this law. The man shall be free from iniquity, but the woman shall bear her iniquity.
Just some strange stuff here.
A lot of questions there.
A lot of questions, whatever it is. But chapter 5 has to do with sending away the unclean people and restoring people, and then this adultery testing people. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I just don't sweat the small stuff on this for sure, but somehow just purity laws.
Yeah, more purity laws.
But I think this test of adultery is very unique.
Yeah.
And so if you even write that down in chapter 5, in terms of unclean people, keeping them out of the camp, in terms of restoring people, that's other places. But this adultery test is only in Numbers chapter 5.
Yep, and it takes up the most space.
Yeah, and so
the chapter.
Yeah, that I think would be a great summary to remember that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we come to, the ESV says, the Nazirite vow. So this is the vow that John the Baptist had and Elijah. Mm-hmm. And the Lord spoke...
And Samson.
And Samson, you're right. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, when a man or woman makes a special vow, the vow of a Nazirite, to separate himself to the Lord, he shall separate himself from wine and strong drink. He shall drink no vinegar made from wine or strong drink, and he shall not drink any juice of grapes or eat grapes, fresh or dried, all the days of his separation. He shall eat nothing that is produced by the grapevine, not even the seeds or the skins.
All the days of his vow of separation, no razor shall touch his head, until the time is completed for which he separates himself to the Lord. He shall be holy. He shall let the locks of hair of his head grow long.
So the Nazirite, this is sort of like a vow that you take, even for a season of a time.
Yeah.
No drinking, no razor in here, no dead body. Verse 6. All the days of his separation, that he separates himself to the Lord, he shall not go near a dead body, not even for his father or for his mother or brother or sister. If they die, shall he make himself unclean, because his separation to God is on his head. All the days of his separation he is holy to the Lord.
If any man dies very suddenly beside him, in case that happens.
In case you're sitting on the subway and the guy dies next to you.
And he defiles his consecrated head, then he shall shave his head on the day of his cleansing. On the seventh day he shall shave it. On the 8th day he shall bring 2 turtle doves or 2 pigeons to the priest, to the entrance of the tent of meeting. And the priest shall offer one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering, and make atonement for him, because he sinned by reason of the dead body. And he shall...
it's interesting that he sinned.
Yeah,
right?
By something he didn't do.
But the idea was he took this vow, he needs to stay away, someone died, so he failed in the vow, even if it wasn't his fault. Still, he's guilty and liable for this.
Mm-hmm. And he shall consecrate his head that same day, and separate himself to the Lord for the days of his separation, and bring a male lamb a year old for a guilt offering. But the previous period shall be void, because his separation was defiled.
So he didn't fulfill his whole obligation.
Yeah.
And this is a law for the Nazarite. When the time of his separation has been completed, he shall be brought to the entrance of the tent of meeting, and he shall bring his gift to the Lord, one male lamb a year old without blemish for a burnt offering, and one ewe lamb a year old without blemish as a sin offering, and one ram without blemish as a peace offering, and a basket of unleavened bread, loaves of fine flour mixed with oil, and unleavened wafers smeared with oil, and their grain offering and their drink offerings. And the priest shall bring them before the Lord and offer his sin offering and his burnt offering, and he shall offer the ram as a sacrifice of the peace offering to the Lord with a basket of unleavened bread. The priest shall offer also its grain offering and its drink offering, and the Nazarite shall shave his consecrated head at the entrance of the tent of meeting, and shall take the hair from his consecrated head and put it on the fire that is under the sacrifice of the peace offering. So in other words, burn his locks of hair that he cuts off. And the priest shall take the shoulder of the ram when it is boiled, and one unleavened loaf out of the basket, and one unleavened wafer, and shall put them on the hands of the Nazarite after he has shaved the hair of his consecration. And the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. They are a holy portion for the priest, together with the breast that is waved, and the thigh that is contributed. And after that, the Nazarite may drink wine, right? Because his vow is completed.
This is the law of the Nazarite. But if he vows an offering to the Lord above his Nazarite vow, as he can afford, in exact accordance with the vow that he takes, then he shall do in addition to the law of the Nazarite.
Okay, so this chapter is all about the Nazarite vow. No vine, no razor, no dead people. But now we come to the priestly blessing. You've probably heard this blessing before. It's super helpful. I encourage you to be able to memorize this, say this. Maybe say this over your children before they go to bed at night. That'd be a very appropriate usage of this. Say it in your family. Say it when people are leaving. Like that would be very appropriate. This is what Aaron said. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to Aaron and to his sons, saying, Thus you shall bless the people of Israel. You shall say to them, The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace."
So shall they put my name upon the people of Israel, and I will bless them.
Okay, Nazarite vow, priestly blessing.
Okay.
We will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.